The public image being presented is one of controlled confidence, warm climates, and carefully managed rebellion against tradition. In April 2026, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were seen arriving in Melbourne, Australia, reportedly traveling on a commercial flight and mixing with everyday passengers in what appeared to be a deliberate effort to project humility and relatability. However, behind the polished photographs and practiced smiles, insiders suggest a far more turbulent reality unfolding away from the cameras. According to those close to the situation, there is growing concern about Harry's mental and emotional state. Reports describe him as increasingly restless within his Montecito residence, a property valued at around $18 million, where he is said to obsessively monitor media coverage, online discussions, and commentary surrounding his family. What was once described as a composed and disciplined former royal figure is now, according to unnamed sources, struggling under the weight of constant scrutiny. Some insiders claim he has become withdrawn and tense, reacting strongly to even minor headlines. The narrative being discussed is not simply one of public criticism or media pressure, but something far more complex involving identity, legacy, and institutional conflict. While the couple's Australian appearance was framed as part of a broader branding strategy, reportedly linked to commercial partnerships and public engagements generating significant revenue, the timing has coincided with renewed controversy and speculation in royal commentary circles. These discussions have intensified due to the release of new publications and statements from individuals claiming proximity to royal affairs. One such publication, Tom Bower's Betrayal, has reignited debate around long-standing rumors and tensions within the extended royal ecosystem. The book presents allegations and interpretations of internal conflicts, including claims of deepening divisions and private concerns expressed by senior figures. These assertions have not been officially verified, yet they have contributed to a renewed wave of public speculation. As the Sussexes attempt to maintain their public image through international appearances and media projects, the backdrop has become increasingly complex. Supporters view these moves as part of a broader reinvention, while critics argue they signal ongoing instability behind the scenes. What is clear is that the story surrounding Harry and Meghan in 2026 is no longer limited to media narratives about celebrity or royal departure. Instead, it has evolved into a wider cultural and institutional conversation, shaped by competing interpretations, heightened emotions, and unresolved tensions that continue to attract global attention. As attention around the couple continues to intensify, much of the current speculation has been fueled by the timing of their public engagements and the release of new commentary from royal authors and commentators. Their 2026 Australia visit, presented as a blend of public appearances and brand-related activities, has been widely discussed as part of a broader effort to sustain relevance on the global stage. According to various reports, the tour is not only symbolic but also financially significant, with estimates suggesting multi-million-dollar value tied to speaking engagements, media visibility, and associated partnerships. While supporters describe this as a modern approach to public life after royal duties, critics argue it blurs the line between personal identity and institutional legacy. At the same time, Tom Bower's book, Betrayal, has added further fuel to ongoing debates. The publication does not simply revisit familiar narratives, but instead presents claims about internal tensions, private conversations, and long-standing mistrust within royal circles. Among the most discussed elements are allegations suggesting that senior figures within the monarchy have privately expressed concern about the direction of events in recent years. These claims remain unverified, yet they have contributed to an already charged atmosphere. Royal commentators and media analysts continue to debate the credibility and impact of such assertions, especially given the absence of official responses addressing many of the specific points raised. In parallel, the public narrative surrounding Harry has become increasingly focused on his emotional state and decision-making under pressure. Some commentators suggest that he is navigating a deeply complex environment where personal loyalty, institutional legacy, and public perception are constantly in conflict. While no independent confirmation supports the more extreme interpretations circulating online, the broader conversation reflects a growing fascination with the internal dynamics of the Sussex household and its relationship with the monarchy. What is undeniable is that every new appearance, statement, or publication adds another layer to a story that continues to evolve in real time, with public opinion sharply divided between empathy, skepticism, and curiosity. As the public conversation intensifies, attention has increasingly shifted toward the most controversial and sensitive claims circulating online and in certain media commentary spaces. Much of this discussion centers on long-standing rumors that have never been officially confirmed by any credible institution, yet continue to resurface through books, interviews, and social media analysis. One of the most widely debated elements comes from recent televised commentary and public appearances by outspoken royal commentators. In particular, statements made by individuals such as Lady Colin Campbell have reignited controversy, as she has publicly suggested interpretations of events surrounding the Sussex family that have not been substantiated by official records or verified evidence. These remarks have been met with strong reactions across different audiences. Supporters of the Sussexes argue that such claims cross the line into speculation, while critics insist that public transparency remains a legitimate concern given the constitutional role of the monarchy. The result is a deeply polarized environment where fact, interpretation, and rumor often blend together. Harry's response to such narratives has typically been defensive, with legal warnings and firm pushback against what he considers invasive or misleading reporting. However, this aggressive legal posture has itself become a topic of analysis among commentators, some of whom interpret it as a sign of heightened stress and sensitivity around ongoing scrutiny. At the center of this debate is a broader question about public life and privacy. The Sussexes have consistently argued that they deserve the same level of personal protection as any private citizens, despite their global visibility. Critics, however, maintain that their continued association with royal identity places them in a unique category where public accountability and transparency remain unavoidable. This tension between privacy and public interest continues to define much of the discourse surrounding them. Every new interview, documentary, or public appearance is dissected not only for its content, but also for what it may imply about internal dynamics and unresolved tensions. Meanwhile, online communities have amplified speculative theories, often removing context and replacing it with interpretation. This has created an information ecosystem where narratives evolve rapidly, making it difficult to separate verified facts from conjecture. The discussion becomes even more complex when examining the legal and constitutional dimensions often referenced in these debates. Central to much of the speculation is the concept of royal succession law, which governs eligibility and lineage within the British monarchy. Observers frequently cite historical legislation, such as the Act of Settlement and subsequent amendments, which outline requirements related to legitimacy and succession rights. These laws have been interpreted in various ways over time, and modern updates have adjusted certain provisions, but they remain a focal point in discussions about royal lineage. In online commentary, some voices have suggested that questions surrounding birth details or procedural transparency could have constitutional implications. However, it is important to note that such claims remain speculative and are not supported by any confirmed legal proceedings or official statements from the relevant institutions. Despite this, the persistence of these discussions reflects a broader fascination with the intersection of monarchy, law, and public accountability. Even unverified claims gain traction when they touch on sensitive subjects involving identity, inheritance, and institutional legitimacy. Within this environment, Meghan Markle has often been portrayed as taking a more assertive legal approach, relying on formal action to counter rumors and protect her family's privacy. Legal experts note that such strategies, while common in high-profile defamation disputes, can sometimes lead to unintended consequences if cases progress into discovery phases, where evidence may be examined in greater detail. This possibility has fueled further debate among commentators, though again, much of the discussion remains hypothetical and driven by interpretation rather than confirmed legal action. At the same time, the monarchy itself has maintained a largely silent stance on many of these circulating narratives. This silence has been interpreted in multiple ways. Some view it as a deliberate strategy to avoid amplifying speculation, while others see it as an effort to distance the institution from personal controversies. As a result, the situation continues to exist in a space defined by ambiguity. Public curiosity grows with each new development, but clear answers remain limited, allowing speculation to fill the gaps. Amid the rising wave of speculation and commentary, attention has increasingly turned toward the personal toll such public scrutiny may be taking on those involved. In various reports and insider accounts, none of which have been independently verified, Harry is often described as being under significant emotional strain due to the relentless attention surrounding his family's private life. Observers point to his public statements about mental health and personal trauma as evidence of a broader struggle to balance public responsibility with private well-being. However, interpretations of his current mindset vary widely. Some view his behavior as a natural response to prolonged media pressure, while others suggest it reflects deeper uncertainty and frustration with ongoing narratives that continue to circulate globally. At the same time, Meghan Markle is frequently portrayed in commentary as adopting a more structured and legally focused approach to external criticism. Her reported reliance on legal teams and formal complaints has become a defining feature of how the couple manages public disputes. Supporters argue that this represents a necessary step to protect privacy in an environment driven by speculation, while critics claim it may inadvertently intensify scrutiny by drawing further attention to disputed claims. This contrast in approaches, emotional visibility on one hand and legal assertiveness on the other, has become a recurring theme in discussions about the couple's public strategy. Analysts suggest that this dynamic reflects two very different responses to sustained global attention, both shaped by the pressures of living under constant media observation. Meanwhile, the broader media environment continues to amplify every development, often blending verified information with commentary, interpretation, and speculation. This has created a situation where narratives evolve quickly, sometimes outpacing official responses or clarifications. As a result, separating fact from conjecture has become increasingly difficult for audiences trying to understand the full picture. Each new statement or appearance is dissected for hidden meaning, adding further complexity to an already highly charged public discourse. The legal dimension of the ongoing controversy remains one of the most discussed and least clearly defined aspects of the entire situation. Much of the speculation centers on what could happen if legal disputes surrounding media coverage were to escalate into formal court proceedings. Legal analysts often point out that in defamation or privacy-related cases, the discovery phase can require both parties to present supporting documentation and evidence. This procedural reality has led to widespread online discussion about what types of records might or might not become relevant if such cases were ever fully litigated. However, it is essential to emphasize that many of the more extreme claims circulating in public forums remain hypothetical and are not grounded in any confirmed legal filings or judicial actions. Instead, they reflect broader public curiosity about how legal systems interact with high-profile individuals and institutions. The monarchy's traditional silence in response to many of these narratives has also become a subject of interpretation. Some analysts argue that the institution deliberately avoids engaging with speculation in order to maintain stability and prevent escalation. Others suggest that this silence may contribute to uncertainty, allowing external narratives to gain momentum without official correction. In parallel, discussions about financial pressure and public branding continue to surface. The Sussexes' media ventures, speaking engagements, and international appearances are often analyzed not only as cultural events, but also as part of a broader economic strategy. Estimates regarding earnings and commercial value are frequently cited in commentary, though they vary widely depending on the source. As public interest remains high, the situation continues to evolve in multiple directions at once: legal, personal, financial, and institutional, creating a complex narrative landscape that resists simple conclusions.